What is going on, youth? Man, we are here with our youth podcast, and we're so excited because we have our worship pastor, Mr. Sam Misigaro. Say what's up to everybody. We're excited to have him on. We got a few questions that we're going to ask him. Some funny questions, some worship-related questions. We don't know where this is going to go. We're just excited to have him on as a guest today. So we're going to dive into some good questions. We got some funny ones at the top. And I'm scared for this one because I have to answer it too, and I don't know. But what is the weirdest thing that you have ever done? And the reason why I ask you this is because I feel like you've done weird stuff. So that's why I put this one on here, because I feel like you just do weird things. So give me your weirdest thing you've ever done.
Well, I appreciate it. Also, thanks for having me on. I've never been on a podcast before. And so I'm not as seasoned and as polished as you. In the intro, bro, about foul you. I thought you were screaming at me. You just too much energy.
Sorry.
It's too early.
I bring the energy really fast, really hard. Scares a lot of people, but it's okay.
Yeah, it didn't ease in at all. All right. So weirdest thing that I've ever done. That's kind of subjective. I feel like to you, every day of my life is just weird. If we're being honest. But for me, the weirdest thing that I think that I've ever done probably happened in 6th grade. It doesn't make sense to people when I tell them this story, but I am a rebel at heart, but I'm also a super respectful person. And so it just makes for like just doing weird things. So I just remember there's one time I rallied like everyone in my 6th grade class to pass notes about our teacher that taught Spanish. But on the notes were just like really kind things about the teacher. So,
okay.
Which is just like really weird because part of me was like, I want to be a rebel and I want to do something kind of like sneaky, but also I don't really want to get in trouble. But I also wanted to be nice at the same time. So, so it's kind of like just pick a lane. But that's my.
So really, you just wanted to be a nice person, but also weird at the same time.
I guess so. I guess if you want.
Did the teacher like it?
No, she was just like really confused by it because so it like kept getting passed around and we were hoping she would catch us. We were like making it obvious, like, you know, but then she never caught us. So then we had the classroom narc. We told her like, go tell that we're passing this note. Go tell on us. And then she went and told on us and she's like, hey, Sam and Deshaun are passing notes to each other. And then the teacher like pretended to like just be walking by us and then saw the note and was like, oh, what's this? And then it just said a bunch of nice things about her. We're so glad that we're in your class. You're such a great teacher.
Such a good thing to do. That is very weird.
I mean,
that is legit weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
But it's super nice.
It's just my I don't know, 6th grade brain, and that still exists in me. Rather than just do something nice for my wife, I have like some weird spin on it that just confuses her. So that's just, I don't know.
Makes it interesting.
It stuck, yeah.
It's not normal. I mean, it would have been different. It would have been normal if you would have just given everybody a letter and say, hey, write something nice about our teacher and then give it to her.
Yeah.
That's not the fun way to do it, though.
Yeah.
You got to surprise her. You got
to surprise her.
That's surprise her. She thinks it's something bad.
Yeah.
She opens it and it's something good about her.
Yeah. She thought it was going to be something raunchy. Someone's talking smack about another student, but lo and behold,
she was surprised.
We like you. You do a great job. Yeah. We're glad to be in your class.
I love that. So I want to answer this too because you told me I had to. But I was trying to think. I don't do a lot of weird things in my opinion. They're probably weird to other people.
Oh my gosh.
They're probably weird to other people.
I probably have more stories about you being weird than me being weird.
I sing a lot. People probably don't know that. I sing a lot. Miranda will tell you that. But this one weird thing that I did a long time ago, I was probably like, maybe in 6th grade. No, I would have been like 4th grade maybe. 3rd grade, I don't know. I used to, when I was younger, I would pretend that I got hurt for attention. Like, I don't know if everybody does this, but I did this. So there was one time, me and my dad, we were leaving school, and I faked tripped. I intentionally wanted to do this. I faked tripped as we were walking out and fell, like legit fell on the ground on my arm and pretended I broke my arm. The whole time I was telling my dad I broke my arm. I wanted him to take me to the hospital. I wanted to get checked out. I wanted to actually break my arm. He didn't believe me. Obviously, he's smarter than I was. So he took me home, and the whole night I'm icing it. Oh, my arm's broken. It's broken. It's broken. And I'm complaining. I'm telling everybody it's broken. My grandparents, it's broken. My sister, it's broken. And a couple days go by, and they're not buying it. So I think I ended up coming clean. I'm like, yeah, I didn't break my arm. And they're like, we know. And then after that, they made me go and apologize to every single person that I told that I broke my arm. So I remember going to my grandparents and telling them, I'm so sorry. lied to you about breaking my arm. And I did that a couple times. There was a lot of occasions where I'd pretend to really hurt myself. I never went that extreme again because obviously I learned that it was obvious I didn't break my arm. So I went to like the little extremes. I rolled my ankle. I didn't roll my ankle.
I got you.
But I don't know why. I just wanted attention from getting injured all the time.
I get it. And it still exists. You do it every Sunday night at basketball.
Shut up.
You do. You always falling. My back. My back.
I actually do hurt myself though.
I'm not buying it anymore.
Whatever. All right.
Yeah.
Whatever. But that was probably something weird. But I do weird things all the time. I guess you are right. So
yeah, that is. I mean, yeah, it is pretty weird, but also somewhat common.
Somewhat common. I feel like there's a lot of people that do that.
Like,
because people want attention. You know?
Yeah, like I did not that, but as a kid, if I were depraved of attention, I would result to just doing something weird rather than
dumb.
Yeah, just dumb rather than just being like, hey, I'm
Give
a
me
little
attention.
lonely.
Actually pay
I'd
attention
like to hang
me.
out with you guys.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. To be honest, I probably would still go with that route today, rather than be like,
listen, I don't blame you.
Hey, come hang out with me.
Come hang out with me.
Weird.
All right, so this question is fitting for everybody because the thing I've learned about you over the last few months and years that we know each other is that you love food, and you don't love the food that everybody else loves. All right, you love the different kinds of food that everybody else likes. All right? It's not a weird thing. Yeah. That's cool. I like that about you, all right? You're not the guy that's just going to go to Chick-fil-A every day. No. You're not going to go to Chipotle every day. No. Not McDonald's every day. No. You're going to go find the mom and pop shop that no one else knows about, and then you're going to tell everybody about it.
That's
all right?
it.
So this question is, what is the strangest food you think you like that probably other people wouldn't like?
Okay. Strangest food that I think.
Or maybe a strangest place that you found.
Okay. Shoot. Okay, so first, let me preface by saying, like, food for me, I hope to eat food that tastes good. Yeah. But I can eat a meal and it maybe not taste the best, but still have the time of my life.
Right.
Because I like to cook, and sometimes, like, if I'm trying a dish that's like very specific to a culture or something like that, I feel like I get to learn about this culture, and I get to, especially if I'm in someone's house and they're like making me something that they grew up eating or something, I get to learn about your family. And so even though it might not taste the best to me, I feel like, man, I'm connecting with somebody in a way absent of this dish I probably wouldn't be able to, you know?
Yeah.
I get to taste your childhood. If you ate this every day growing up, like, that's cool to me. So really random, really weird. But in terms of like a weird spot that I go to, hole in the wall type spot. Okay. I don't even know the name of the place, but
that's how hole in the wall it is.
That's how hole in the wall it is.
Doesn't have a name.
But it was on it's on Western at the bottom of the hill, so it's kind of in the hood. Okay. Don't go there without me if you're listening to this. But it's a barbecue place.
Okay.
And when you go in, there's like bulletproof glass like in front of the counter, and they give you your food like through a carousel. So like they put it in a thing and then they spin it around for you, so you can't really eat it. But it's really good. It's good barbecue. Just wish I remember the name of the place. I don't remember, but it's good barbecue. Okay. Some good ribs, some good rib tips.
Okay.
It's good. It's good up in there. I like going to places where I gotta risk it.
You gotta risk it to get your food.
Yeah, for the biscuit.
Those I will agree with you. Those are the best places. I don't know what it is. Those are the best places. It's like the family-owned shops, you know? They take diligent in what they make. Yeah. Instead of, like the typical McDonald's, it's like a chain restaurant. Yeah. Those people don't care what they're making. They just want the paycheck. Right? Yeah. But these places,
they care.
They care. That's their life.
They don't got money for advertisement, so their advertisement is
their food.
Yeah,
exactly.
I hope you tell somebody about this.
Yeah. And that's the best one. Look at that. You're telling people about a place that you don't even know the name of.
I don't even know the name of, but
look up barbecue places, but don't go to it because apparently it's got bulletproof glass, and that's the sign that it's not safe. Yeah. So I gotta ask you this because I think you've taken me to one of these places, but where is your favorite wing restaurant? Wing spot?
You already know.
What's it called? I forgot what it's called.
It's called Junior's
on Main Street, right?
Yeah.
That's the one you took me to. Yeah. And it's really good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Junior's on Main Street. I would never have had that if I didn't meet you. Never. I didn't even know that was a place until I met you.
It's good. Seasoned food.
Top of the line. See, a lot of people here would say Wingstop or B-Dubs. What do you think about those two? chains?
I mean, Wingstop above B Dubs for me personally.
Wingstop above B Dubs. Okay.
But B Dubs.
No. Yeah,
Also,
I'm kind of right there with you.
Yeah, we don't need to. I mean, I could talk for hours.
Listen, we could talk. We could have a whole podcast
really
about
bad food.
So.
Yeah, and bad food. I'll just throw this out too. Also, Panda Express.
Oh yeah,
I know you like it, but
I like it.
Yeah.
But I do like actual,
like
like
Chinese,
real Chinese food. I would probably prefer that over Panda.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I just don't know of the mom and pop shops that you know of. So I'll just go to Panda because it's easier for me. You do your research. I don't. I'm not about to Google Chinese restaurants. I'm just going to go to Panda because I know it. Judge me if you want to. But it's what we do. So
yeah. That's chill. It just doesn't look right.
Yeah.
That's what it is for me.
No,
it looks like somebody cracked a glow stick and then seasoned the chicken.
I will say this. Have you probably have you gone to Hy-Vee and got their Chinese?
No. But it's pretty good?
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
Okay.
I will say I would pick that over Panda.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, I don't know if you would agree with it because it's a Hy-Vee. It's not like authentic, but still pretty good.
Yeah,
it's delicious. So
I'll also let me plug Yenxing real quick. That is a legit mom and pop shop. Yep, North University by the Book Nook, up there. Yep, can't go wrong. It's pretty cheap. It's pretty cheap too. Real authentic. They barely speak English, so you got to point to everything in the menu. It's good. He said, "Oh yeah," but it's good.
I would do that.
Yeah, but
that's when you know it's real because they know how to make it, man. It's not some American white boy behind the counter making Chinese food.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know what you're doing. It's just a bag of frozen orange chicken. You're putting the sauce on it. Like they're actually making it.
Mm-hmm.
So look at you. See, we'll do a whole nother podcast later just about food recommendations, and people are gonna take your opinions on it. They're gonna be asking for it later.
We'll see, but I doubt it.
I doubt it.
I doubt it. We'll see.
All right. Well, let's get into some actual questions. So we wanted to ask you. So you're the worship guy here.
Mm-hmm.
You love to sing. You play on the worship team all the time. You wrote some songs. So I wanted to ask you just some questions, just kind of around worship. And the first one I just wanted to ask is very simple and just I think it'll just set the tone for this. Is just, what does worship mean to you? Like we sing songs on a Sunday, we sing songs on a Wednesday, we write worship songs. Just what in general does worship in a whole just mean to you? Why do you do it? What's the reason behind it?
Worship to me, this is the definition that I roll with. It's just when like every part of my life just responds to who God is, and me knowing him and having a relationship with him. And so beyond when an instrument is in my hand or I'm singing something or playing something, like every title that I wear, so as an employee, as a husband, as a father, as a brother, as a son, as a communicator, as a citizen of the United States, like every title that I could possibly own, like when all of those things respond to who God says that I am and who he's called me to be, through a relationship with him, that is when I feel like I'm like actually like getting to the heart and to the meat and bones of like being a worshiper. And so even just like when all the little things in and about my life that not necessarily everybody sees, responds to, so even in my speech, how I talk, even in my bank statement, how I'm spending my money, even in like how I care for my home, how I treat my neighbors, like, and all those things. When all those things line up, and I feel like people can, see them and sense, hopefully, the love of Jesus through them. Then I think that we're really getting to something.
Through your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Just how you live your life.
How you live your life. It's super important, and it's like super personal too. I think I spent a lot of my life thinking that in order to live a lifestyle of worship or to be a good worshiper, it needed to look like how that person does it, or how that person does it, or how that person does it. But in reality, I'm walking through different stuff. I got my own journey with Jesus, and I think he's asking things of me specifically. In Romans chapter 12, verse 1, it talks about becoming a living sacrifice. That is a true act of worship, is what the Bible says. And so I think that there are specific things. Well, there are universal things that God calls everyone to sacrifice, right? Like if you choose to follow Him, then universally, you're called to sacrifice your own pleasure, right? Yeah. You're called to sacrifice, like being vulgar in language. You're called to sacrifice not being good with money. Like we don't have those quote unquote freedoms, even though they're not really freeing. Like people are slaves to all those things, you know what I'm saying? But we don't have those freedoms as believers. But then specifically, like as I live a life of worship, I think God is asking Sam, like I'm calling you to give this thing up in pursuit of me, And so, so that's what it is for me. Yeah. And I don't know that you've asked this or you're going there, but I'm just going anyway. Do it. But so that's like why I think corporate worship or worship with like believers gathered together, whether they're young or old or whatever, like coming together and singing songs and all that stuff. To me, it's like the best preparation to be able to do those things. Because if we're being honest, it's not the most comfortable thing to do at first, right? I think you do think things like, oh man, how do I sound? How do I look? I don't know what that word means. Why is everyone raising their hands? Should I be raising my hands just because everyone else is raising their hands? Do I stand up? Do I sit down? You think all these things, but I think the more that you like push back against the discomfort of it, and the more you're in God's word and you just see throughout all the Psalms, like we're encouraged to shout, to sing, to raise our hands, to bow before Him, to look up in reverence. Like they're all physical things. We're encouraged to sing songs with one another when we gather, So that's all in the Bible. And as a believer, we want to live out whatever is in God's word. And so I get it's uncomfortable, but in the same breath, for me, I've always just thought, okay, if I'm amongst a bunch of people that believe and proclaim Jesus, and I find it difficult to just sing songs about Him, or I find it difficult to like lift my hands and express my love and appreciation for Him, then what chance do I have when I'm at school or I'm at work and I'm not amongst believers? I'm not amongst people that share my faith. What chance do I have to actually like stand up and stick out and live out the things that I'm called to live out? So it's just good preparation.
I love that. And like, so one thing I wanted to ask you kind of with the corporate side of worship is like when we're worshiping together, I think about like for me when I'm in that environment, and I know you're on stage a lot worshiping and you don't get the opportunity to be like in the crowd every once in a while, but when I'm in the sanctuary with people and I'm worshiping, for me it's just like a moment to just thank God for like what He's done in my life, whether it's good or bad. That's kind of just what I like sit and rest on and ponder on. For you, maybe what does that look like while we're, because I know with students it's like that uncomfortable discomfort thing, like they don't know how to worship. Should I worship? Should I raise my hand? But in that moment when we're worshiping and singing songs, what's something, I don't know, like maybe for you, what do you do in that moment to really just focus your attention? Because I know it's easy when you're on the platform, like, oh, people are looking at me, but like what do you focus yourself on? Or maybe when you're not on the stage and you're just in a worship environment, what do you focus on while you're worshiping to not be uncomfortable or to make it purposeful?
Sure. So this is very niche, and maybe not a lot of people are going to get what I'm about to say and throw out there, but it's still worship. It's still worship for me, like when I'm leading on a Sunday, but on a Sunday morning or on a Wednesday night, there are so many things that are just happening that I'm listening to and listening for and I know the Lord still receives it as an offering, and that is me providing and doing my best to allow other people to worship and not have any sort of distraction. But it's not really like a personal moment of worship for me, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't know. So it's still, under the umbrella of worship, but it's not something that like, when you have a moment of worship, there's just something that like feels like my heart is filled up, and most of the time in corporate stuff, it's like a pouring out of my heart, which we're called to do. We're called to be conduits, right? Nothing's supposed to just remain stagnant. Like as God pours into us, we pour it out and He'll fill us back up. And so my pouring out just happens to be when I'm leading people in worship.
Mm-hmm.
And so but my filling up is just like moments right before this. I was just sitting in the sanctuary reading my Bible, singing a song out to the Lord. And it's important that we have those moments in addition to just like those corporate moments where we get to stand shoulder to shoulder with people that hopefully share the same faith that we have and look heavenward. So that's kind of
I like that.
Yeah.
So kind of as we come to a close a little bit, I wanted to ask you, just for students, like you talked about it at the beginning, living a life of worship. That's what worship really is. How can, in students' lives, I think on a day-to-day basis, how can they try to live out a lifestyle of worship? Like, how can they take what we do on a Sunday maybe and live that out in a day-to-day life? Like, what are some maybe examples that you'd have for students that are listening?
Yeah, so I kind of touched on it before, but just right now, I feel like just pray to the Lord and ask him, like, God, what do you need from me?
Mm-hmm.
Again, because I just remember being young and just thinking that person is someone that really loves the Lord. So therefore, if my life looks like that person's life and my expression of worship looks like that person's expression of worship, then I must be doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
But God wants a personal relationship with you. He wants your heart. And there are things that I might be more connected to than that person is. And so it's easy for me to give the sacrifice that person is giving. But what God really wants from me is something completely different,
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it just takes some God seeking and some self-searching.
Mm-hmm.
And asking yourself the question, God, what might I be holding on to that I'm not really ready to give and to surrender to you? And then you'll know what that is, and just begin the journey and start walking with the Lord, and like kind of what it looks like to let that thing go. I can say for me, personal convictions are a huge thing for me, and personal convictions are different than, they're things that are like, you're not really sinning if you do them, right? But the more that I grow in a relationship with the Lord, the more that I understand myself, I begin to realize, I know that thing might be okay for that person, but for me specifically, I know my relationship with Jesus is going to suffer if I do that thing, you know? And so, I would never like tell people my own personal convictions, because then we just get into like legalism stuff, and just like, you can't do this and you can't do that and you don't do this and do that. But I think we should all have things that are like, for me and my walk with the Lord, for what I'm going through in my life, I don't know it's the wisest thing that I partake in that thing, And I think kind of when you begin to start to have those relationships, it's just the mark of someone that's really growing and walking hard towards the Lord. And I think that's like just a beautiful act of worship. You're sacrificing something, giving up something, just so you could seek the Lord more. So,
would you say that a big thing of worship, or just in general of following Jesus, is surrender? Like surrendering ourselves? Because I think that's a lot. We as humans, we want to do our own thing, go our own places, say our own things.
Yeah.
And I think that's just what like having a relationship with Jesus is surrendering ourselves to His greater story. What do you think?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I think of the story of there's Saul in the Bible who just took it upon himself to continue to bring God animal sacrifices that he never asked for, and there's a well-quoted verse in there that's just where God says, like, over your sacrifice I want obedience over sacrifice. Did you just preach on this?
Maybe.
Who just preached on this? Did you just preach on this?
I might have.
Maybe you did.
I don't know. I preached too many things.
Also, this is online somewhere. Anything that wise that might come out of my mouth probably didn't come from me. I heard it from somewhere else. So
true.
But kingdom domain, I don't know. So I claim nothing. But but yeah, there's someone wiser that probably shared and talked about it way better. So but obedience over sacrifice. Don't just give God something because everyone else is giving that thing to him, or that's what we're supposed to give him. But a true act of worship is surrendering and listening to the voice of the Lord. Like I want to give you what you want from me. I don't know. I don't know if someone's ever given you a gift that you never asked for.
All the time.
And it's just kind of frustrating. And it's also kind of like, especially if it's from someone that like you have a relationship with, it's just kind of like, dang, you don't even know me.
Right.
Bro.
Don't even want
you
this.
don't even know, that I wouldn't even like this. You know what I'm saying? And so that's kind of same thing with the Lord. I just feel like I know him and I want to give him what he wants. I don't want to give him something that just some song and just like, yeah, take it, Lord. And God is like, man, you don't even, do you know me? Just spend some time with me. And I'll tell you exactly what I need from you. So that's it.
The wisdom of Sam Misigaro, man. It's not his.
Still. Or whoever is that is.
Wherever he heard it from. Well, man, I just want to say thank you for coming on. We'll definitely have to do this again because obviously we got to talk a lot more food stuff. So there's more to come with that. But
we'll go to the Bulletproof restaurant next time. We'll go on site.
I need you to. I need you to take me now.
Nah, I won't be
curious. I'm curious how this barbecue tastes. Man, well, thank you guys for tuning in. Give it up for our pastor, worship pastor Sam Misigaro. He's around. Talk to him. Get to know him, man. He's a great guy. But we love you. Thank you for joining us, man. I appreciate you. And we'll see you all next time.